Welcome to the WHHI-TV Daily News. I'm Betsy McDaniel. As always, there's a lot to cover in the Low Country today, so let's get started with a few headlines. 23 years ago, we all said that we would never forget September 11th, and Bluffton, Hilton Head, and Beaufort all held ceremonies gathering together hundreds to remember that tragic day. Bluffton's ceremony took place at the Buckwalter Place Parks Veterans Memorial. Beaufort's ceremony was at the Chambers Waterfront Park, and Hilton Head's Remembrance was at the Memorial Park in Shelter Cove and featured bells tolling at the times of the plane strikes that morning nearly 24 years ago. All of the events feature speakers reminding us to move on, but to never forget, and we will have more from Hilton Head's ceremony a bit later on in the show. Congressman Joe Wilson is being hospitalized with what doctors are saying are stroke-like symptoms after collapsing at an event on Monday. He is in stable condition, according to his son, Attorney General Alan Wilson. The 77-year-old has represented the 2nd District of South Carolina for more than 2 decades. He used to be the representative for our part of the Low Country until redistricting after the 2010 census. He had been casting votes on the floor of the House as recently as Monday morning. Nikki Haley is back in the news as she recently told Face the Nation on CBS that the FBI told her that Iran meddled with her campaign to the point of targeting her for assassination. It was previously reported that Iran targeted President Biden and former President Trump to be killed as well. Haley went on to say that foreign meddling has been going on for years from Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran to try to divide Americans and cause chaos. After endorsing former President Trump at the Republican convention, Haley also says she will campaign for him if she is asked to do so. USC's national championship women's basketball team finally got its White House visit after missing out the first 2 times the Gamecock women took home the title, once over politics and once because of COVID. While praising Coach Dawn Staley, President Biden just couldn't help himself from injecting a bit about politics into his speech, telling the crowd, "I know why this team's so good. You've got a Philly girl running it. I married a Philly girl, and you don't mess around with a girl from Philly. All of you in public office in South Carolina better hope she keeps coaching and doesn't run for office." He went on to praise what the USC women have done to spur the growth of interest in women's sports nationwide. A Beaufort County contracting company's semi-truck, which was towing a large excavating tractor, was hit by a freight train traveling through Ridgeland late last week. Fortunately, the collision was at fairly low speeds and no significant injuries were reported. The semi got caught at a raised railroad crossing just outside the Ridgeland town limits, and the oncoming train could not slow down in time. And the Pinckney Island Wildlife Refuge will soon be getting a bit of a makeover thanks to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The organization plans to cut down some trees and remove vegetation to reduce the fire risk on 645 acres of the island. The pruning will also help control invasive plant species and improve habitats for animals. The Chinese tallow tree, which sucks up the wetlands and has started to become invasive, is one of the primary targets for the removal. The ultimate goal is to preserve the important live oaks while creating 75% forest ground coverage with fire-adaptive vegetation, including warm season grasses. The work will take about 3 years, with funding coming from the bipartisan infrastructure law. The media sources on your screen will have more on these and other stories, and we would love for you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at WHHI-TV. And if you have an idea for a news story, we'd love to hear it, so drop us a line at news@WHHITV.com. And now here's Justin Jarrett with what happened last night in the Loco.
Hey, it's time for Last Night in the Loco on WHHI, powered by LowcoSports.com. We usually get you ready for high school football on Thursdays, but with a wet forecast for Friday, a few area schools are getting an early start on Week 4. May River's home game against Brookland-Cayce and Hardeeville's Lowco-on-Lowco clash with visiting Hilton Head have been moved up a day and will kick off at 7 p.m. Thursday, as will Whale Branch's home game against Woodland and Hilton Head Prep's road game at Bethesda Academy. The May River girls golf team endured a rainy Sunday at Hilton Head Lakes and a difficult golf course Monday at Palmetto Bluff to hold off a top-flight field and win the May River Invitational, with Robbin Zetrouer taking the individual title for the Sharks. We talked with Coach Nathan Campbell on Monday's LowcoSports Lowdown about the big win and what's up next for the Sharks. And we also shouted out the Hilton Head High girls golf team for its win in North Myrtle Beach over the weekend, and the red-hot John Paul II girls tennis team, which swept past Bluffton on Monday to avenge its only loss of the season. Plus, we checked out the highlights from Beaufort's own coverage of the Warrior Showdown volleyball tournament this weekend at Whale Branch, where the Bluffton Bobcats and Bridges Prep Buccaneers made the gold bracket finals. We also had a new episode of Sandshark Rewind on the Loco Media Network on Sunday, and we talked with Coach Dan Huff and two of the stars of the Sandshark soccer team after their 4-0 win over King University on Saturday. We'll see you at 9:30 p.m. tonight for the Loco Sports Lowdown and start getting you ready for another week of high school football on the Loco. For Loco Sports and WHHI, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Loco.
Thanks, Justin. Well, it started to feel a little bit more like fall out there. What's it going to be for the rest of the week? Let's find out with our Low Country Crawl Spaces weather and Maria Soden.
Thanks, Betsy. Yep, so taking a look ahead, it does look like we're going to continue to see this rainy weather as we get through the rest of this week and going into the weekend. So taking a look at Thursday, it's going to be cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms starting in the afternoon, but it should be clearing up by the evening. Hilton Head's going to have a high 83, a low of 75. Bluffton's of a high 83, a low of 73. And Buford's of a high 83 and a low of 72. The sunrise for Thursday is going to be at 7:05 and sunset's going to be at 7:32. Taking a look at the tides, low tides going to be at 11:42 a.m. and high tides going to be at 4:47 p.m. Taking a look into the rest of the week and into the weekend, Friday we're going to see scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day and going into the evening. Highs to be in the low 80s, lows in the low 70s. And then come Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, but should be clearing up by the evening. Highs to be in the low 80s, lows in the low 70s. That's it for your Low Country Crawl Spaces weather. Let's head it back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have some highlights from the Hilton Head Remembrance ceremony for 9/11. We'll take a look at those right after a quick break.